I'm Allison from Learning at the Primary Pond. I'm the founder of the Kindergarten Literacy Club and First and Second Grade Literacy Club, which are currently open for new members, and this only happens a couple of times a year. So before the clubs close, or rather close for new members at the end of the day on January 25th, I wanted to pop in here and give you a little behind the scenes peek, not only at the materials, which I'm going to show you, but also the club members area itself, because a big part of the literacy clubs, and I'll kind of explain what they are in a minute, but a big part of the clubs is just convenience. And so when you see the members area, it will be just clear how easy it is to find exactly what you're looking for. We've made some changes to the interior of the clubs recently, so very excited to share that with you. I also want to let you know that I am doing a giveaway. So I'm going to pull one winner to get a $20 Amazon gift card at some point during this live session. So the way to enter would just be to leave a comment. You can say hi, tell me what grade you teach, tell me if you're a member of the club or thinking about becoming a member, or just, ask a question. However you want to get your comments in, and, the more comments you have, the greater chance you have of winning for when I pull that Amazon gift card winner. So good luck. Make sure to get your comments in. And we will get started with the Kindergarten Literacy Club materials. I guess a little background too, though, before I start showing you this stuff. I created the literacy clubs because I wanted to support teachers on a more ongoing basis with teaching resources and professional learning. This is different from like a teachers pay teachers resource. When you buy something on TPT, which I love TPT, you just get one thing, right? You don't get any like training that goes along with it. You don't get any, like ongoing stuff. It's just that one resource and that's it. This is very different because when you're a member, you get resources that you can count on the first of each month. So you get small group and centers materials. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight, is some of the small group and centers materials plus the login area, because there's so much more than just these monthly planned for you packages, as we call them. If you're just joining me, make sure to get your comment in so that you can be entered into the Amazon gift card drawing. Remember, just say hi or tell me what grade you teach or ask a question. However you want to get your comments in is great, and then I'll pull a winner. Okay, so let's start with the Kindergarten Literacy Club. At the 20-minute mark, I am going to shift to the first and second grade Literacy Club, but we're going to start with some of the small group resources. On the first of each month, our club members get this Plan for You package delivered to their inbox. It just says, hey, your resources are ready. Here's what you get this month. And then in addition to that, the members have to log in and they can download everything. Hello, looks like we've got Mohammed in the chat. Awesome. And then they can grab the, like the consistent resources month after month. So these are the January materials. And then on February 1st, you're going to be getting some brand new materials, members. And so this is one set of the kindergarten readers. These are designed to be highly decodable, which means that there's as many CVC words as possible in there. Now, this is like a beginning level one. And so there's some sight words like I see, and then we've got a little rebus here. The purpose of the rebus is just to allow the kids access to some interesting content like the construction theme without having them, have to decode words that they can't decode. So like tools is too hard. They're not supposed to read this word. They just say, I see tools. Then we move into, it is a saw. Again, we've got a rebus word. The purpose is not for them to guess. They just say the name of the picture, and that is it. Now, in this lower level of the book, the lowest level, there's 3 words that the kids are supposed to decode. It, job, and fun. And the rest are high frequency words, okay? Now, that was 3. When we get into a book that's a little bit more challenging, we've got more CVC words. We've got cut, we've got hit. There end up being 6 CVC words, okay? So we're gradually moving up the stair step. 3 CVC words here. Hello, Aurelis from Florida. Awesome, so glad you're joining me. If you haven't gotten your comment in, make sure to get your comment in for when I pull the Amazon gift card. And then, okay, so this was 6 CVC words, and then the one for level C has many more, right? We've got big, job, got some high frequency words, can hit, Candig. So the way these are designed is really to guide students, because most kindergarten students, once they learn how to decode, they're not ready to decode an entire book of CVC words, right? Like that's just too much. So for that reason, we start, 3 CVC words, 6 CVC words, and then more CVC words, right? So we gradually kind of guide them up that staircase. So again, this is just one example. These are the January materials. Kelly says, hello from Pennsylvania. Brr, yeah, it is cold here in Tennessee. I can't even imagine how cold it is up there right now. So this is just one resource or one part of the monthly planned for you packages for the Kindergarten Literacy Club. And then they also get, my club members get some quick check phonics and phonological awareness assessments that go with the text. They get 6 different texts total, 3 fiction, 3 nonfiction on a corresponding theme. So I don't have the fiction books with me. Or is this the fiction? I don't have the other books with me today, but they were about like community helpers, other community helpers. And then they get lesson plans for every single book. So they're getting 6 small group lesson plans. And then along with the small group plans, they get these quick checks. And the nice thing about these quick checks is it allows our kindergarten teachers to see how the kids are doing with their phonics and phonological awareness development without constantly having to do one-on-one assessments, because one-on-one assessments are great, but they're time consuming, right? So this here has the kids, this is for like, the kids that are ready to talk about final sounds and then to do a little bit of decoding of CVC words. So this is just one example of a little quick check, and our members get 3 every single month that are brand new. Okay, so those are some of the small group resources. Now let's take a look at the centers. So one of the resources for the January centers was these, these popsicle blending puzzles. So for example, what you would have the kids do is you would, and if you're working with word families, this works well too. But the way I like to use these is to have kids say and or blend the sounds on each part and then put them together. So obviously you have them mixed up and they're piecing them together. So they would say s. And then you might also have them say un. So they're just blending 2 sounds at a time, and then they go s, un. This is called successive blending. Usually you think about it as like the kids might say s, sa, sun, but they're only blending 2 sounds at a time. And that can be easier for beginning readers as opposed to saying like s, sun, right? So in that example, we're blending 3 sounds, but in, the examples I gave you here, like if they're saying un, sun, sun, they're only blending 2 things at a time, and that can be easier. Okay, let's see. We've got Kayla, amazing. Anarelli says, very time consuming. Yes, one-on-one assessments are extremely time consuming. Are you doing them right now? I know in January, often it's a testing time, and that can take up a lot of time. So anyway, this is just one activity from the Kindergarten Literacy Club materials from January. And our members, by the way, I don't feel like I remembered to explain that, but our members get 5 brand new centers at the beginning of each month, in addition to all those small group materials. So here is another example of a center resource that our members get. So I'm going to show you a couple of different things. And the reason why I'm showing you multiple things is to kind of show you, number one, how they're social distancing friendly right now, because we know that, hands-on stuff is great, like these for this little short vowel sort. But at the same time, if your kids are social distancing, let me know in the comments if your kids are social distancing. You don't want to have to cut materials for every single child, right? Like that would be too much. So if you don't have to social distance, then you can give the hands-on options that we provide. But if you do have to social distance, then we have these, like the cut and paste sorts. So we have where the kids are cut and pasting the pictures as one level. And then of course they have the hands-on option. So that's one option. And then for your kids that are a little bit more advanced, we have, again, it's a short vowel sort, but this time they're actually CVC words. So the kids have to read the CVC words and sort them by short vowel. So that is another center. And the reason why we have those different options is so that you have options with your kids, because we know that kindergartners tend to be, like you might have a big range of kiddos in your class. So we want to make sure that you have resources for, whatever your kids' needs are, and then also for differentiating. Speaking of differentiating, here is another example of a kindergarten literacy club resource that our members got this month on the 1st of January. And so this one, again, social distancing friendly. They can do it on their own. Of course, you can always have them do it with a partner. That works too. But they're coloring by syllable. So they say each picture, like turtle, they clap it, and then they choose a color. So maybe they chose green and blue. Turtle has 2 syllables, so they color it blue. Okay. And as far as differentiation goes, we have multiples of these sheets in the club. And for your kids that are just working, kind of on like the basics of breaking words into syllables, we've got that. And we have some other sheets, 1, 2 syllables, 1, 2, 3 syllables. And then for your kids that are a little bit more advanced, we have all the way up to 4 syllable words. So again, just another example of how the resources are differentiated so that you can really meet the needs of your kiddos. Okay, second to last center I wanted to show you real quick is just this super fun little word family hunt. The kids can blend to read each word, and then what they do is on their recording sheet, they write down words by word family. Now, if your kids aren't working on word families yet, that's totally okay. The main purpose of a word family is just for kids to notice patterns in words, and they can figure that out, right? Like if they can blend to read top, then they can figure out that it ends with up. So it's similar to a sort. It's kind of like a fun little spin on it. And there's more than just one in the set because each of the 5 activities is always actually more than one activity. All right, last little center that I want to show you, and then I think we're going to move on to showing you the login area. If you're just joining me, make sure to get your comment in. Just say hi or tell me what grade you teach, and I will be pulling an Amazon gift card very soon. So this is just another example of a center activity that our members got, and you can either use the board just like this, or we have an editable version so that you can type in exactly what words you want, and it'll still look just like this, so you can really customize it. Whenever we do a high frequency word, activity, then we allow you to customize it by making it editable, so you can really meet the needs of your kiddos. Okay. Let me change my screen share. I want to show you real quick. We've got about 6 minutes. I will be doing the gift card drawing soon. Hey, Lisa in 1st grade. So glad to have you join me. Okay. Let me figure out how to switch my screen. Okay. So real quick, just want to give you a little tour inside the club. What I was showing you came from those like Plan For You packages that we provide our members on the 1st of each month, but there's actually so much more inside the literacy clubs. As soon as you log in, as soon as you become a member, you have instant access to well over $100 worth of resources and training videos. There's so much inside the members area. Okay, so this is something new to the club, and this is super handy because it allows you to find activities that are exactly what skills you want to cover. So if you're a brand new member, this is what your little site will look like. However, the longer you're a member, the greater your resource library grows to, right? Because every single month, you're getting these brand new materials. And speaking of the new monthly materials, another way to access them is just to go in here and say, okay, I want all the new centers for January. You can grab them there. Or I want all the new small group resources for January. You can grab them there. We also do have these digital friendly books. I don't know if anybody is here having to go remote or pivot to remote learning, but we have digital friendly versions of the text because some of our members are having to go remote unexpectedly. So hopefully that is not you, but if you are a member, you will have access to digital versions of the text, which is really handy. Also, just if your school runs out of paper or something like that, you'll have access. I also want to mention that at the beginning of every single month, we do a private members only webinar where so normally it's me giving literacy PD or, something like kindergarten specific in the kindergarten literacy club. However, this month we actually had 2 guest speakers on the topic of student engagement, and they were awesome. So if you are a member, you become a member, definitely come in here and watch this recording. That's another perk of being a member, is that the webinars get saved in there permanently, so you don't have to worry about the recordings expiring. You can always join us live for the chats, but if you can't make it, they're saved in there permanently. Okay, so we just got about 3 more minutes, and then we're gonna have to shift to first and second grade. But just to give you a small peek, again, I said there's over $100 worth of resources as soon as you log in. There's assessments, there's literacy scope and sequence. There's a whole thing, big thing for a sound wall if you want to make a sound wall, suggested apps, suggested books, writing paper, just all kinds of goodies to make your life easier. We have an intervention central area where you can go if you're saying, like, for example, okay, my kids, let me find this. It's not cooperating with me. Here we go. If you say, okay, my kids are having trouble with clapping, separating words into syllables, then it has specific things that you can do to support them. And then there's also lots of materials in Intervention Central to help them with those skills that tend to be tricky, like blending and segmenting. Okay, so that's Intervention Central. There's so much more good stuff in here, but we don't have time to look at it all. The Small Group and Centers Toolkit is brand new, and I am so excited about this. This is such a time saver. So number 1, we have a centers planning guide, and that just has a ton of different literacy center ideas that are meaningful, hands-on. It's just a time saver when you're trying to come up with centers. I also have a small group planning toolkit for you. This is, again, a huge time saver. So what it does is it breaks down. I use different leveling systems, so it really doesn't matter what system you use, or if you're, just working by phonics pattern, or, whatever the kids' development is as far as phonics and letter sounds. And basically you can use these checklists to completely plan all your small group lessons, because it tells you, okay, start the lesson with this, spend this amount of time on it. And then, these are the options that you can do. Here's how you introduce the new text at this level. Here are some discussion questions, some teaching points, some word work activities. There's so much in here that if you're a member, you definitely want to download it and make it a binder, or, spiral bind it together, because when you actually go to plan your lessons, it will be so much easier, because you literally have a guide. No matter where your students are, it'll guide you in what to do during your lessons, which is a huge, huge time saver. There's so much more that we don't even have time to look at yet. Rather, there's these small group word work cards, which I have here, just added a bigger version too, where the kids can write words in sound boxes. Like I said, there's over $100 worth of materials. There's professional development webinars, back to school stuff, organizational tools, and then you can also get a discount to join the Learning at the Primary Pond Math Library for only $5 if you are a Literacy Club member. So that was a lot of information. Let me see if I can answer some questions. Make sure to get your comment in, because I'm gonna pull the Amazon gift card winner in just a second. Wendy joining us from second grade. Amazing, Wendy. I'm gonna start going over the first and second grade club materials momentarily. Lana in kinder, amazing. Christy in kindergarten, welcome. Sandra, first grade dual language, awesome. Aurelis, are the full resources available, or are they samples? Aurelis, I don't think I understood your question. Maybe can you ask it in a different way? Because this stuff that I was just showing you were just examples, and then inside the club, you get the whole complete set, of course. Yes, Lisa, these are a huge time saver, because you just keep them on hand. And then when it's word work time, you pull them out. I have them laminated. The kids can write on them with a dry erase marker. You can wipe it off. This is a huge time saver. And the kids really like them I'll take some and I'll put them out on the table, and they get to choose what pictures they write or what words they write first. And it's just a really handy thing to have. Okay, let's see. I think that's all I wanted to go over for the Kindergarten Literacy Club. So now let's go ahead and do our giveaway. I'm just going to randomly scroll. All right, Lisa, you are my winner. Lisa, please email support@learningattheprimarypond.com, and we will send you your Amazon gift card. Yay, thanks so much for joining me. Okay, now we need to move on to the first and second grade club materials. They're set up similarly in the sense that you get small group and centers activities, because that's usually the stuff that you have to supplement, right? You might have your core literacy curriculum, You got to have that. But then there's all those extras, when you're planning for small groups, you need text, you need lesson plans, you need centers for the other kids, or, however you do your independent work. And that's exactly what the literacy clubs provide. So let's go to, here we go, back to my little document camera here. Okay, so these are the first and second grade club materials from January. Our members get 10 passages and they are highly decodable. And when I say highly decodable, what that means is that we carefully control for which high frequency words and which phonics patterns are included. They're not like phonics readers in the sense that oh, you're working on SH or, and all the words in the passage have SH, or you're working on short vowel E. They're not like that because our members use a variety of different core literacy curriculum. And so then with these passages, we want our members to be able to use them no matter what phonics skill they're teaching. So, we just have different difficulty levels. And of course, there's fewer challenging words, fewer text in general. On this one, any words that are going to be tricky for them, you want to pre-teach, and we give them to you right here. This is a QR code so they can scan and listen to the audio of the passage. Some of our members just make this a listening center. So look, so it's the same topic of the text, even the same title, but we're gradually getting more challenging. We're gradually including more challenging phonics patterns. So the difficulty level is increasing. Okay, so there's 5, see how it's getting harder? Same topic though. There's 5 different difficulty levels for fiction. And then there's gonna be 5, this was nonfiction, sorry. There's gonna be 5 different difficulty levels for nonfiction. And then there were 5 difficulty levels for fiction. And our members get those every single month and they are brand new. The nice thing about having the first and second grade club together, so you can see the difference between the hardest and the easiest. Yeah, I think that's the easiest. The advantage of having both grades together is that you really get a range of resources, because we know that in first and second grade, kids tend to be all over the board. Let me know in a comment if your students in first or second grade are kind of spread out, or maybe there's a big range of abilities. Okay, Megan says, love the QR code. Yes, that is awesome because, so like I said, some of our members just use the listening center, but what I really recommend is that you have, you get small group lesson plans that go with these. Have the kids read these as part of small group, as long as you need small group text, and then give them a copy of the passage. And when they go back to centers or independent work, have them scan the audio and read along with the audio, because having kids read along with audio like that, or a more proficient reader, is really good for building fluency. So having that audio is really handy. Okay, so in addition to the passages, 10 per month, at different difficulty levels, highly decodable, you also get a lesson plan for each passage. So it's 10 lesson plans. You get a, a question set for comprehension with each passage. And I only pulled 2 of these to show you. I just wanted to show you the difference between one of the easier question sets and then one of the more challenging ones. So the beautiful thing about this is that literally everything is differentiated. It's not just the passages, it is the question sets, and it is the writing activities. So with each passage, you also get a graphic organizer, a writing activity. So here's retelling, little retelling hands. And then we also provide options with sentence starters and options without sentence starters. So again, the name of the game is differentiation. And I know that you don't have a ton of time to make these materials yourself because it is very time consuming. So we want to give you options that you can just print out and use. So again, this is just one of the easier or, lower level writing assignments, and they have options with sentence starters, options without. Here's an example of a more challenging one, et cetera, et cetera. So these all have to do with the passages that the kids are reading, those 10 passages, and the materials that go with them, like the phonics activities, for example, are also differentiated. So this bowling game was from January, and what the kids do is you cut out, or the kids cut out these different words, and they have to get little counters. And what they do, it can either be a independent game or a partner game. I know that not everybody can have the kids work with partners right now, so they either take turns reading the word cards, they just, put them in a stack and read the word cards, and then they're like trying to cover different vowels to like get, a strike or whatever. So we have it for short vowels. We have it for final blends. We have it for ED. We have it for vowel teams, and we have it for diphthongs. So same game, but lots of different skills to really meet the different needs of kiddos. The other piece that come along with all this, so again, I've covered the texts, I've covered the small group lesson plans, we talked about the comprehension questions, we talked about, what else did we talk about? The writing activities, the phonics, and you get this every month. So it's new every single time. However, the structure is consistent. So you know exactly what you're going to get. It's not just random stuff every month. You know that you're going to get those 10 passages or whatever. In addition to all that, you're either going to get a vocabulary or fluency activity. That is the one that we like alternate between. And those are leveled or differentiated as well. So like this is an easier one, right? It's spin and read, good for developing fluency. And then we also have it at a more challenging level. And there's 5 levels total. I'm just showing you like an easier level and one of the hardest levels, but there's other levels. There would be 3 other levels in between. So again, everything is differentiated so that you can differentiate easily, because differentiation tends to take a long time. Yes, Crystal, exactly. Okay. So last little thing I want to do here is just show you the inside of the first and second grade literacy club. Again, the Plan For You package that you get every single month is really just one piece of the puzzle. Let me pull up the little members area for you. There's so much when you log in. There's over $100 worth of materials, and it's only $14 a month. So it is a huge, huge deal. Okay, let's grab this. Okay, so this is the inside of the first and second grade literacy club. If you were here when I was talking about the kindergarten literacy club, then you already know that it is organized by skill, which is super handy. So every month you can either like go in here and say, okay, I just want, for example, I want all of the materials for January, easily download it, no big deal. There are also these digital friendly, oops, these are from Kinder. There are these digital friendly, no, that's not the right thing. Sorry. What was I trying to do? Here we go. Okay, there should be, I need to check on this. There should be a digital friendly version of the passage that is just the passage. We will have to fix that in there. It should just be a one sheet thing that the kiddos can like view on their devices, or you could even send home if they have to do like remote learning or whatever. So the digital friendly version is handy for sure. So those are going to be in there shortly. And then we always do a members only Zoom call for a little bit of PD at the beginning of each month. And you just get a link, say, hey, this is our first and second grade literacy club workshop for the beginning of the month. You join. Normally it's me doing the PD, but this month, earlier in January, we had some guest speakers doing a really awesome presentation on student engagement, which was so great for the beginning of the year. So definitely, if you're a member, go in and watch that. The recordings are always there for you. So it doesn't matter if you can't attend live. It's not a big deal. You can just go in and watch afterward. So in addition to being able to access, like all the January materials or whatever, you can also look specifically by skill. So we did give you the January materials, but we also gave you some bonuses as far as like for different phonics skills so that you would have different options. So I don't know how well you can see on your screen, but it'll say like long vowels, R-controlled vowels, hard and soft sounds of like G and C, diphthongs, digraphs, all kinds of different skills that you might be looking for, again, in the name of saving time. And if you're looking for small group resources on specific levels, great. Oh, this is where it was. I'm just not used to being able to download them here. This makes sense. Okay. Oh, no, it should just be the one page or two. All right. So what you can see here, no, this is supposed to be everything in there. What you can see here is that if you're looking for like a specific level and you're like, okay, I want some, about E and F kiddos, so like early first grade, then you can download the passage and all of the materials here with the lesson plan, the running record, the writing activities, and any other corresponding activities for the passage. So it's a super easy way to find what you need. All right, last couple of things here, and then we are going to wrap up. There's a bunch of professional development webinars that are already in here waiting for you to watch, and they come with a certificate of completion, which is super nice if you have to get a certain number of clock hours. So there's a bunch in there already. There's Intervention Central specific activities and like showing you how to do intervention for comprehension, vocabulary, fluency, phonics, phonological awareness, all kinds of stuff if you have any kids that are in need of reading intervention. The small group and centers toolkit is super, super handy. This, I know I showed this already with the kindergarten resources, but want to make sure everybody sees it again. So this will have different levels or different leveling systems rather, so that you can find exactly what your kiddos' needs are. Might even be looking by phonics skill. And then this is an outline of, it's not really an outline, it's a checklist. So what I recommend doing is putting all of these sheets, which cover different levels, in a binder. And then when you go to plan your actual small group lesson plans, you just pull like 1 or 2 items from the warm up. You pull, like what to do in the text intro. You pull some discussion questions, some teaching point options. You just pull one, some word work, right? So this is basically a checklist that shows you what you might do in a given small group lesson. And so if you put these in a binder and you print them out, you can just say, okay, well, I'm planning for a group at this level. So here are some options that I can do here. Let me write that in my lesson plan. Here are some other options. So this is a huge time saver, and it will really guide you in what to include in your small group instruction that's going to be appropriate for kids at that level. Okay, also in there, there's like some centers planning. There's a centers planning guide, which just has, again, a bunch of ideas for centers. There's these small group word work cards, which are super, super handy. I recommend like printing them out. They've got sound boxes. They've got everything from like CVC words all the way up to multisyllabic words. And what I like to do is there's like different pictures. So you put them on the table and then kids choose one as part of word work, and then they just write the word. They show you because they're at the small group table with you, or you could use them for independent work. But if you have them at the small group table, they can show you the word. You can provide feedback, and then they erase and they put it back and pull a new card. So there's tons of that in there. And there's other stuff too. There's like stuff to make a sound wall, scope and sequence, comprehension questions, back to school materials, organizational tools. And if you're a Literacy Club member, you can also get access to a huge math library of resources if you need math for only $5 a month. So like I said, there's well over $100 worth of materials, but a membership is only $14 a month. We are accepting new members through the end of the day on January 25th. So we'd love to have you join me in the club. Again, the purpose of the club is just to, as Kelly said, save you time. So Kelly says, I've been a member for a while now, but I'm really starting to use a bunch of the resources, and it's a huge time saver. Yes, that's the whole purpose of the club. Kelly, we are so glad to have you as a member. So glad you're saving time and using more of the materials now. Amazing. The whole purpose is to give you back your time, not so that you can work more, but so that you can spend it with your family, with your friends, on your hobbies. It's not healthy to work all the time, right? We all know that. And having struggled as a classroom teacher before becoming a literacy specialist, I know just how time consuming it can be to even do the bare minimum, right? Like just to keep up with the demands of the classroom. And so the purpose of the literacy clubs is to give you lots of resources, but also support. I know one of our members' favorite things is just going in and watching the recordings of the professional development webinars so that you can feel successful as a teacher, but also have more time for yourself. That is the whole purpose of the club. All right, well, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, I will let you go. Remember, clubs close end of the day, January 25th. Would love to serve you in the club. We're not going to be opening up again for new members until July. So this is, if you're in the US Canadian school year, this is kind of like last opportunity to get in before the end of the school year. So would love to have you, would love to help you save time like Kelly. Thanks so much for watching this, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.